Welcome to Industry Insights with Route Consultant, your front row seat to the fast-moving world of logistics and beyond. Each week, we bring you game-changing insights, real-world strategies, and fresh perspectives to fuel smarter investments and build stronger businesses. Join us as we sit down with expert guests to explore emerging trends and pressing topics across a wide range of industries. This is Industry Insights. We have Dave and Amy Byers back for another session, and this one we're talking about something that has come up fairly recently, a new thing for the FedEx space, but we've seen it in a couple of other spaces, but that is picture proof of delivery, which is a hot topic across all of logistics. And how long ago did this actually start in the FedEx space?
Probably about a year ago.
Yeah, about a year
ago.
Yeah,
and then they just started rating us on it, right?
Okay.
They started it, and they always do that. Like they, get it in there. They want us to try it, but now there's metrics to it. Mm-hmm. So that's always how it kind of evolves. So there's a difference between when did it start and when did it start mattering, I guess, right? So that's so recently is when it started hitting your metal score, and it's part of a bigger, bigger calculation of how you do in the FedEx network.
Obviously, hopefully everybody paid attention earlier since you had to learn it before it mattered. But now that it does matter.
So, now it's part of training. Now it's part of onboarding and how people, it's just another new task.
Or at least hopefully it's a part of training.
Correct. If you want to do it right, it will be.
So what is it? What is picture proof of delivery for people who haven't heard of it?
It's just a process of taking the picture with the scanner at the door, so that the customer can track the package and confirm that it was delivered or where it was delivered to their front door or their side door or their delivery box or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
In a race to stay competitive with, even, Amazon, DoorDash, Amazon, Instacart, Shopify, all those different, all these different places that are doing it. It's very important that, Amazon, obviously, you get it and they tell you exactly where it is. So I think, in a race to stay competitive, we knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if it's happening over there, and people love it. If you see a blue door and you don't have a blue door, you're like, "Where's my my box?"
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. My house and my neighbor's house look very similar, but our door is a different color, so I always know it's like, okay, that was the wrong house.
Yeah, and if you're at work, you can track it right then and say, okay, it's at my front door,
and
or
text my neighbor and say, can you go get my package?
Yeah,
move it over. Yeah,
we do that. Our dogs are kind of fans of packages. So if they're out, we'll text our kid when he gets home from school. I'm like, hey, there's a box at the front door. Can you grab it? So it is very helpful. I mean, from a user standpoint, we totally get it. Yeah. From a business standpoint, it is in fact one more thing that the drivers have to do. And there's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts now that the drivers have to do. On a delivery, on a single delivery. So one more question, code, picture proof of delivery. But I think because it's being measured and it's part of those metrics, even though it's not one of the big ones, not big safety or service, it is that customer service piece. Again, another smaller percentage, so make sure you're focusing on safety and service. But when you have the ability to focus on some of those other tasks, it's kind of the and two, safety, service, and two, focus on this. That's the big, push. And a lot of the terminals, because they know that you're not supposed to hit things. Right, or damage property. And they know that you have to get a 99, right, on service, or that your goal is 100% on service. So they know these things. So when they're focusing on these kind of, lower hanging fruit type improvements, that's where they go, right? The ride score and the PPOD. So for us, PPOD is pretty, there's a pretty difficult range. We have rural contracts and we have city contracts. City contracts are pretty, the suburban contracts are pretty easy, front door, take a picture. But the more rural contracts, we actually deliver sometimes intentionally to the dock box or to a mailbox or wherever they want, where the customer actually wants it, but the PPOD shows a different picture. So Dave actually gets in with our BCs or our senior BCs, and they manage, they kind of get a hot list of the bad ones so we can correct them pretty quickly. But there's ways to kind of manage through that. Yeah.
And you said it was the scanner, so it's not a new device. They don't have to use their phone. It's directly from the same device.
Right.
And it is prompted. So it's not like they have to manually, go in and remember to do it. It says take a picture.
Okay. And I remember when this first started, there was a lot of worry about, this is, even though it's a small amount of additional time, that it does add time throughout the day. Have you found that it did hurt efficiency even though it's just one little thing to take a picture?
It affects it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. That it's now just become part of the delivery process.
Yeah.
But not to where someone couldn't do the same 132 stops that they
Okay.
do. So he's saying yes, and I'm like, no.
They should be able
They
to
should
just
be
add
able-
it mentally.
Yeah, it's not a big
Because
deal.
you're already in your scanner scanning it, and so you just, take one more
It's
button.
literally one
Yeah.
more step.
Just step back, take a picture.
Now, I
move
will
on.
say, if you don't have good scanners, or if there's something wrong with your scanners, that's another side piece of that, is you have to make sure that your equipment is good and working, because you can get bad quality images, and it could be that the driver's, kind of shaking around and moving around and not really caring to stay still and do it, or they're doing it really fast, so it's like blurred.
Yeah.
But there could be an issue with your device. So that's another reason that we kind of have to hone in on the Spotlight report and get that PPOD report and double check that it's not the device that's just taking a poor picture, a poor quality picture.
Yeah. So the scanners, were they already able to take pictures, or did you have to get new devices when this happened?
Same. They just had to turn on the functionality of the cameras.
Okay.
Yeah.
So simple software remote fix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's, regulations or guidelines of how the picture should look.
Yep.
Right? It needs to be the label and the box and a little bit of the background, but not the address and not a person and not, so there's all these, things where it needs to be this and needs to be that, but can't be this and can't be
Yeah.
that. So, on top of all these things that you're trying to get your drivers to do, it's one more thing, right? That you
Yeah.
didn't do it good enough, or you didn't do it clear enough. So it's a good way to, get into that Spotlight, check your PPOD report, and identify the ones that are maybe the same, so you can identify if it's the same driver and all of them are bad. Maybe it is the scanner, or maybe it's just one little quick fix that say, I need you to just pause and take the picture, please.
Yeah.
Instead of like running off with it.
Yeah, I imagine that was a learning curve,
it
because I'm
was.
sure it was like you said, people are trying to go fast, so it's just package, picture, go, and
Yeah.
then realizing that you have to at least do a little pause.
Yeah, a little
to get
pause,
that picture.
correct. Yes.
So you mentioned that there's metrics now for this.
Mm-hmm.
What is FedEx actually tracking when you say there's metrics around this?
Picture quality
Okay.
is the big one. And then obviously it tags with missed deliveries. So effective, obviously the actual delivery goes to the right place, but the PPOD that you're getting rated on is the quality of the picture.
Okay.
So I think it's just, all those guidelines that I just talked about,
Yep.
That the picture is clear, that the box is where it's supposed to be, that
Is
you
it
can
like
see.
a check mark, yes, it's a good quality picture, or there's levels of metrics there?
In the PPOD report, you get the bad ones.
Yeah, it'll be it's kind of like a pass fail.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just flags the bad ones,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah. And again, some of the bad ones, like Dave pulls sometimes, they're not bad. They're just not at the front door. So whoever's reviewing it didn't realize that we put a code on it and said your dog was out.
Yeah.
Or you actually, in the delivery notes, it says please leave by
the back door.
the
and they
back
forgot.
door.
Yeah.
And so those two systems don't talk. So it does take a little bit of effort for our AO level BCs. And because Spotlight is only available to the AO, Dave has to pull that data, look at it, and then give it to the BC. So I know FedEx is working on making that a little bit more transparent to the BC level, so that they can get access to Spotlight, which would be fantastic. Even a version of Spotlight, so that they can.
And a quick side tangent for people who don't know, what is Spotlight?
Spotlight is a new metric portal that you can kind of jump in and see not just your medals, but you can see all the different tracking metrics for customer service, ride. You can sort, on your ride scores. You can sort on your PPOD. There's a new signatures page on there where you can see poor signatures or invalid signatures or fraudulent signatures or
Yeah.
whatever they think is flagging. If there's an OP201 on file, but it hasn't been processed yet, those pop in there. So it's just kind of like a one-stop shop for you to see everything that's going on with your team. Again, the big fall on that one right now is that it's only available to the AO. So Dave is the only one that can get in there, and that's not what we should be doing at the AO level. The BC should be able to see that and make those changes right away. And I think they're going to work on it and give at least some, delegation level access. But so the PPOD report, Dave goes through weekly?
Yeah, I go through weekly per terminal and sit down with the managers and we talk about kind of what's the hot items or who's the hot driver that we need to address.
Yeah, you usually find it's like a couple people or a couple situations.
What are like the biggest things you see as in common errors or
blurry pictures? Blurry. Yeah. They just need to slow down, take a good picture.
It's the usual.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're too close because you're not supposed to have the actual like address in the picture. So, but we just need them to slow down, step back, take the picture, make a good quality, and then they can move on.
Okay. Is this something that FedEx is? I know you said that they look at it. Like, do you find that they're really aggressive about correcting these? Is the terminal manager going to come, have a sit-down meeting with you because you have blurry pictures?
So it is part of the medals.
Yeah.
So under customer service, RIDE, PPOD, those are in there. And there is a score. Ours is like 3.65 or 3.75. You need to be over, a certain metric. So, which I think is a 3, I think they're looking for. But so yes, it is part of it. Again, it's a smaller customer service and efficiency or productivity is a smaller chunk of your medal score. But if it's a area of improvement or an area of focus, they're going to bring it up to you. And if you're doing really well in safety and you're doing really well in service, they're going to come talk to you about something.
Yeah.
So it's one that you do have to balance. And it's really not a difficult one.
Yeah.
So FedEx gave us some really good documentation at first of like what a good picture looks like and what a bad picture looks like. And if you can just recycle kind of those pictures and that message to your folks, it really just takes one more thing, one more conversation to say like, hey man, you need to slow down a little bit. All these pictures are bad.
Yeah.
We actually had an employee, he didn't realize it at first, but he was just taking a picture of the fire extinguisher in the truck. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, there's dogs and I delivered the package and I have to like run back. And I'm like, well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So he had to we just had to have like a tough conversation with him to say like, I all the understanding reasons why, but that's not okay.
Yeah.
So it's just a conversation. And, I was like, what is that? Or a lot of times you'll see new people, or if they're rushing or if it gets busy, they'll take a picture of the floor or they'll take a picture of like the patio.
So they took a picture, but
they're just trying to get through, or especially if they scanned the box, they closed out, but they didn't remember to take the picture. Now they're at like a different stop, right? So they're like, now what do I do?
Well, what is the solution there? So if they've forgotten, or if it is dogs where, they had to toss the package and run, like what is the actual way they're supposed to handle those situations?
We've had some drivers take pictures of the dogs.
Be like, this is literally the thing that I am running from.
Right,
Yeah.
which that will flag, but we'll be able to see it and say, oh, this.
Because it's such a small percentage of the times that those kind of odd things happen, you just fail.
Okay.
Right.
And it hits your average, but
it's a one-off.
Yeah.
So it's not at every stop.
But when you get somebody that's habitually taking pictures of the floor or rushing, those are the ones that you can fix because it's every box. So it's 132 packages.
Yeah.
And then you can have conversations with like SPS. We've had conversations where our guy has put our box on top of another box. So we get our box and with the Amazon box.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Can't take a picture of the other box.
Correct. You can't take a picture. And then also those ones where it's like we left it at the front door or we left it at the dock box, but it said leave at the dock box. But the AI picks up that that's not
the front door.
Or it has different characteristics. So it thinks it's kind of in the wrong place. So those, again, you can, choose to dispute them or alert the PPOD team at FedEx or your SPS. But at the end of the day, it's not those onesie twosies that are breaking your service in that category. It's the ones where the whole entire, like I said, a bad scanner and every single box that day was poor quality.
Yeah.
So it's just about, fine tuning and kind of sharpening the pencil with your staff. But it is just, it is another
It's
thing.
another thing.
It's just
Yeah.
another thing. So it does get very frustrating when you focus on so many of the actual service-related things. But to be fair, I want to know where my stuff is.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's a blurry...
Like we talked about, we get it from our perspective.
From our perspective, you definitely get it because it is a competitive edge. And if we lose a shipper because the shipper says all your pictures are terrible and this other shipper can ship our stuff and get clean packages and the customers know where their stuff is.
Yeah.
So we have to do our part, which I think is a piece of what we lose sight of as a vendor to FedEx is we lose sight that we have the ultimate impact on our continued volume.
Yeah.
And if something this, small, yes, it is yet one more thing, but it's a small thing.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of the things that we have to do every day.
Yeah. And at the same time, like you want to know, like you talked about, if you see a pattern from somebody of where they're taking a bunch of blurry pictures or they're rushing a bunch of boxes, although that is probably a correctable issue, it may be an indication that, hey, maybe they're going too fast or rushing some other things, making small mistakes elsewhere. So it's still like a good piece of data to, get a look at what your employee's day is and see, okay, there might be something we need to correct.
You'd be surprised you wouldn't be surprised that the people that are on the PPOD report are probably on your low score ride report as well.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the DSW, they're probably on a poor service report also.
Yeah.
So, they're getting the stops done, but definitely rushing. But we have seen that, the scanners.
As long as we communicate to the drivers, we can usually correct it.
Yeah.
It's not a tough.
This isn't something where it's like you correct them on it and then it takes, 3-4 strikes before they learn it. It's usually one
It's
conversation.
instant, and I can check next week and see if it's been fixed or
And
not.
if they still aren't fixing it after 2 conversations with something that's easy, that's probably another sign.
It's another indication that this is an easy one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get this one right.
Did you find much pushback at this point, or drivers
No.
pretty much like
No.
it's just it's
They
just
don't
a
even
normal-
realize that we even look at a report to see. And
Yeah.
if you talk to them, the next week it's corrected.
Yeah.
And you move on to the next.
It's just a part of life now.
Just
This is
it.
and I think at this point, if they're working with FedEx or Amazon or anybody in this space, just kind of understands that this is the new standard.
Yeah. And it is, that's exactly right. It's just, from DoorDash to, like I said, everything that you touch has a picture, proof of delivery, or receipt, whatever that looks like. So it's an industry norm now, and we just have to fold in. Would I say I would focus that over someone that's struggling with safety, service, or, not scanning boxes at the end of the day or not service crossing? I don't think it's, and FedEx recognizes that it's not as important as that because they wouldn't have given it
Such a low
portion of a
percentage.
small
Yeah.
category of the weight. But it does impact you. It is something that you have to manage too.
Yep.
So you can't just keep doing it wrong. But also, take the focus area with the weighted category that it's in.
Yep. And one other thing, when it comes to data, I know once there's pictures, you're sending more pictures. Did it increase your costs much at all there with the scanner companies?
No, it didn't increase our cost, but it does use more battery. So
okay.
scanner batteries, it's kind of been an issue. But there's
The age-old problem of dealing with scanners and how to update them and how to charge them.
right. The scanner batteries, they die,
Yeah.
and it just takes a little bit more to take a picture. So we've been managing that, which is kind of a struggle, getting batteries to get them charged and getting that kind of figured out. But
do you charge in the vehicles, or do you?
we have vehicle chargers, and we have like a box that we built that we have like a charging station that we can
at the terminal, or
no, we
office?
charge at offsite. Well, we'll load them at the terminal and then take offsite.
The BC will bring like the whole box with
and
them.
then
Yeah.
charge it.
So
Okay.
it's
Part of their
It's
responsibility.
like his briefcase.
Yeah.
It is like his briefcase.
Yeah, and then
But
that's
he
definitely
managed-
his responsibility to bring it
Yeah.
back too.
But
He
we do-
manages the batteries.
Yeah, but we also, I know this isn't PPOD necessarily related, but we do like the scanner audits, and we do battery audits. So our managers and our leads and supervisors are checking trucks once a week. And, somebody's battery dies, it goes in the side pouch, goes in the doghouse, it goes in the above, that little above area and some of the cutaways. And all of a sudden you're like, it's like the lottery. They think they're doing a contest. They're like, I found 5 batteries in, truck, whatever, And I'm like, put them in the
Congrats,
box.
put 'em in the box. Yeah.
Can we get those charged?
Yeah.
But our managers, every week they'll send messages and like, hey man, like we need to get the batteries back in the box. Because it ties immediately to that. So,
Well, and I will say, that does bring me to something else. Previously, if you lost a scanner or if a scanner died and you had to go the whole day without a scanner, your efficiency's tanked. You can do service cross, like, you can do it by hand. Can you do anything you just fail on all the pictures for that day?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
My manual picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Like pull out your phone.
If you could draw a picture of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. On the service cross, you draw.
No.
Yeah. That would be exciting.
At our office, we have, I put 2 charging stations.
Yeah.
So I keep batteries charged. If someone struggles, I'll run batteries out to them.
Okay.
Or we've been outfitting like our team leads because they manage a small group of people around them. They'll carry extra batteries, and if something goes sideways, they can go.
They can meet up with them real quick.
And I also have extra scanners.
Yeah.
So if the scanner's giving them issues, which happens a lot, we can run out and give them a scanner.
But more than ever, like if you're a small contractor, this is something where having a spare scanner is not an option.
Right.
Obviously it was already a bad day if you had to have a guy go out without a scanner, but now you also fail every picture.
Yeah.
So
and now the new scanners have built-in batteries. So the newer version, they're built in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think that's everything when it comes to this new picture proof of delivery system, which it's fairly new, but I mean, it is something that we want to hit on because it is something that is a part of your metals. It's a part of day-to-day life now, and getting used to it, how to manage it, how to improve it, and how to be effective with it is really important.
Yeah.